Hello, all of you youngins. Ah,
Great.
hello, everybody. This is Michelle with Moksha Grace Coaching. And I am joined today by Miss.
Krista Barone of Wicked Wisdom Consulting.
And I know nobody has ever asked us if we're related. So just, to stop any rumors. Yes, she's my older sister. Just kidding.
That's great. I knew you were going to throw some sort of curveball in there.
Well, I have to make it fun, right?
Of course.
So today we're continuing our life transition series. And today we are talking about aging.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
guess what?
What?
Not one person, nobody can escape aging.
True.
So you can choose to attempt to resist it. Notice I said attempt.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can go along with it.
And that's today's episode, folks. See you next week. No. Just kidding.
Yeah. So go ahead, Krista. Ask me the fun question that most people that you're told never to ask a woman.
How much do you weigh?
That's good too.
How old are you?
I am 50 fun.
Oh, okay. So you're 51?
No, I'm 50 fun.
Oh, 50 fun. Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
Who came up with that? I think it must have come from someone really cool.
Yes, her name is Michelle Barone, and that's
no, excuse me. I wrote that on your card when you turned 50. So
yeah, you're right. You did.
Yeah.
Welcome. Yes, young minds. So aging. What comes with aging? Different ways that you wake up in the morning. Instead of a yawn, you hear your knee crack or pop.
You know what? I'm going to stop you for a second because
Yes.
I think aging and everything that we talk about today is so incredibly dependent on the person and their mindset. And that phrase of you're only as old as you feel is very, very applicable.
And that is what I was about to get to.
I'm sorry for jumping ahead.
Our physical bodies are going to age.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the way life is. We can take care of this beautiful, wonderful vessel we call a body. We can eat the right foods. We can exercise. We can, oh my goodness, get massages. We can do all of these wonderful, lovely things with it, keeping ourselves as vital as possible. However, not everybody does that. And the bottom line is that no matter what, the body is still going to age. What is never going to age and only become wiser is what's inside. Spiritually, energetically, knowledge. We internally are only as old as we feel, to your point. In my mind, I'm like 21 most days.
In my mind, I'm about 75.
That is not always true.
No, not always. Not always.
But and even with that, when you think about a 50 fun year old or a 70-year-old or a 60-year-old, I was talking to a client the other day, last week during her session, and she was like, I feel like I can finally let real, authentic me out
Hmm.
because I don't have to pretend
Mhm.
to fit in for a career, to fit in for a relationship. And that, like, I thought my 30s were cool because that was when, you guys, my kids, you guys were, doing baseball and dance, and we had friends, and it was you meet people through all of these kid things, and then 40 came, and 40 was really cool because then the kids were, you guys were teenagers. We didn't have to get babysitters anymore. And like your father and I, like, were able to kind of act like kids again.
Mhm.
50? 50's like, well, for some, 50's like, I just want to do what the hell I want to do.
Mhm.
And and I've done a lot of work to let go of old beliefs. I've done a lot of work to let go of old resentments. I've done a lot of work on forgiveness. All of that impacts the actual vessel.
Yeah.
So the body and the mind and the energy are all connected,
Mhm.
and you can't just treat one better than the other and expect yourself to feel young. Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean that just goes with the balance of things. You can't neglect something and then expect everything else to just be okay. I mean, if you let your physical health, if you neglect your physical health, you can't magically think your mental health is just going to be, nice and clean as a whistle. Same
Right.
as spiritual. You can't only work on yourself spiritually and not take care of your physical health and think that you're going to live forever. Well, I don't know, it depends on your perspective on that one. But you can't take care of your mental health, but then let yourself go physically and think that everything's just going to be okay. There has to be a balance.
Yeah. And what's so cool is, as you said, live forever. We actually do. Energetically and spiritually, we do live forever.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that we're in these physical bodies having a physical experience on this rock that's tumbling through the universe and spinning around a sun.
Yeah.
And again, what resonates with you, please take with you, and what doesn't, leave. It's fine. Not leave the today, I meant leave the information behind. But what resonates with you, let us know. Let us know who's here. Put it in the chat. Um,
Well,
but when
sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I don't remember what I was going to say.
I was gonna say, to your point about, we never really die. I think part of what scares, where the biggest fear comes from with aging and passing on at some point is an insecurity in one's belief of what happens after death. And I think when you come to terms with the fact that whether it's you believe in heaven, whether it's you believe in your energy goes on and you're reincarnated, having something, I mean, truly no one will ever know. No human will ever know. We have plenty of people who have tapped into the other side and can tell us what
Mhm.
they've experienced and the messages that they've received. But truthfully, humans will technically never know for sure. Um, but I think a lot of times the people who have the most heartache in life, particularly around death and aging, are those that don't have any sort of firm belief as to
Mhm.
what happens after our physical body right now is no longer what it is right now.
Right. And here's the thing about that. The more you think about that and worry
Mm-hmm.
about that and have anxiety about that, the quicker you're going to get there because you're going to stress your body out so much that you're going to get there and find out much quicker. And if that's okay with you, then cool, do it. But isn't the purpose of living and being on this earth, having this physical experience to actually have that physical experience? We're not supposed to be worrying about what's happening on the other side of the veil. It's happening. There's like probably like a whole dang party going on over there. We'll get there. But for right now, we're in the other room.
Mhm.
And that's how I think of transitioning, is that it's literally walking through just another door. That's it. So 1 minute we're here on the physical plane and the earth, and then we cross through this door, this veil, and who knows where we are.
Mhm.
We are where we're supposed to be. And
Yeah.
so there's got to be some trust and some faith in that. Um, and that comes with wisdom.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with the wisdom, though, we're actually born with it. And that's something that through the years I've learned, that we are born knowing everything we're supposed to know. But the more we live life, we forget it.
Mhm.
And it's designed that way because it's supposed to be like this, like, I guess, scavenger hunt where we re-find ourselves.
Right.
And how cool is that? Life is a flippin' game. And
Mhm.
you can either choose to be that game person that, like, knocks the board up when they lose, or or they don't like how the game is going,
Right.
or you can just take it as it is and go, okay, today's today. This is how today I would like today to be, and then make it your day.
Mhm.
um but aging is time passing, and yes, there's going to be cricks in our neck, and there's going to be some pains that we're not used to, but that's again the physical vessel,
Mhm.
not our internal self. And so how do you deal with the physical aspect? Because let's face it, we see ourselves in the mirror every day, probably multiple times if we actually look in the mirror. Uh, and there's a lot of people, and like, we put in the promo, there's a lot of money spent on trying to look young. And I had somebody say to me one time, you're getting some lines, you might want to, like, take care of that. And for me, every single line, every single smile wrinkle is just that, it's a memory of a smile.
Mhm.
Every stress line, it's a line of something that I went through. These are like my, I don't want to say battle scars, but they're my memories,
Mhm.
and they're me.
Yeah. And I think, a couple things that you've mentioned so far, aside from wrinkles, every person in my age group, which is late 20s, early 30s, is already experiencing those things. And I think that
Mhm.
there potentially is going to be a massive shift into what aging really looks like over the next, we'll call it, decade, because I feel like I've had aches and pains and my joints have been weird and things like that since before you and my father even did, practically,
Mhm.
it feels like. So I think there's going to be some major shifts into what aging really looks like. I mean, I have a couple of grays. I've got gray eyelashes already. My sister-in-law has talked about, like, oh my God, I found a gray. Like, and that's happening a lot earlier. And
Mhm.
that could be something to do with our food system and what's happening in our country. And that's a whole
Yeah.
other conversation. But I think the perspective on aging is just really, really interesting because I, for one, have always looked at aging, and I'm sure it has to do with my personality more than anything else. But aging to me has always been such a, like, positive thing. It's always been such a rite of passage, and that probably also has to do with my history of being a childhood cancer survivor. Is that was something that that perspective of I there was a potential that I wasn't even going to have a future, that I'm sure puts some weight into that, but
Mhm.
there's so much joy and excitement and new experiences that come with every day that we're older,
Yeah.
that to resist it, in my mind, is just such a crazy concept. Because every day, every second that I get older, I feel more and more like myself. And I'm sure not everybody feels like that, of course not. But to resist it, I mean, it's such a natural phenomenon that to resist it so passionately, like so many people do,
Mhm.
to your point, actually only ages you quicker. And so it's such
Yeah.
an interesting, ironic situation because it really is the truth. The people who have who are the most filled with joy and carefree to a certain extent, but just go with the flow and take life as it is, typically tend to be the ones that live a lot longer than the rest of us who might trudge along and resist and
Mhm.
push against it. And there's also a level of joy that I don't think people who resist aging are even remotely able to achieve. And there's someone that we know who passed recently who she resisted aging with everything inside of her.
Literally.
Everything inside of her, and all of the work she had done, and the plastic surgery and all of that, none of it did anything for her. It didn't improve her relationships. It didn't get her a romantic relationship. It didn't make her more wealthy. It didn't do all of the things that in her mind it was going to. And it only
Yeah.
actually served, based on what we've read since this person passed, is all it did was actually add um, to her self-esteem issues. All it did was make her feel worse about herself and resist
Yeah.
aging even more, because instead of looking in the mirror and just seeing what's there, every day was a reminder when she saw her plastic surgery of, oh, I gotta boost it, I gotta redo it, I gotta
Right, I gotta do more.
more. And so it actually starts to work against you, I think, in a lot of cases.
Well, and I think the key word here is resist, right? So if imagine, so in my mind I had an image when you started saying that. Imagine being in a canoe
Hmm.
and you're paddling with the stream, right? You're going downstream. You barely have to paddle.
Yeah.
You just have fun, and the canoe kind of almost goes by itself, and every now and again you got to kind of stay away from the end, the sides, or go around a log, or what have you. But if you turn that canoe around and you try to go upstream,
Hmm.
you're going to be paddling and you are going to get exhausted,
Yeah.
and it is going to take a toll on you, on your body. So the more you resist aging, the more of a toll it takes on you, versus if you just let it ride. Like, just go with it. I was talking to another client and we were talking menopause. And I've been on a menopause podcast cuz people have asked me, like, how did you get through it?
Yeah.
And I said I kind of ignored it.
Hmm.
I mean, do I have hot flashes and stuff? Yeah, okay. That's why I have a remote for my AC in here. And, people will see me going like that and I'll be turning it up and turning it down. But honestly, I had made a choice that I was not going to take any of this synthetic, replacement hormones or anything like that. Like, it's a rite of, like you said, a rite of passage.
Hmm.
And when you think of it as, we all have our spring, our summer, our fall, and our winter. We
Hmm.
can all start out as Persephone and we're all going to end up like Hecate. You just get to choose the way you think about it
Hmm.
and how you live with it,
Yeah.
because I don't want to get through it. I want to live with it. I want to embrace it. Now's the time. I'm definitely, like, as I get older, the older I get, I am definitely more Frankie. If anyone watches Frankie, Grace and Frankie, I'm definitely going to be Frankie.
Yes.
I'm like on the
Already.
trajectory. I'm on the trajectory. I have on my grounding booties right now. I love to go and hug trees. I like to meditate every morning. That None of that was in my scope of daily routine when I was concerned with raising, children and starting a marriage and making sure that everything was tidy. And it's like, none of that's I mean, it's important. Yes, it's important. And we all have the stages. But again, it's a rite of passage.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now, for people who are struggling with the concept of aging, it's something that they're really having a hard time with. And maybe it's because it's more that they're now having to take care of aging parents, which we recently, in the last 5 years, have had to take care of three aging parents who all three have since passed, or my grandparents.
Mhm.
That can be a very difficult experience for people, and it seems like a lot of people, maybe we got a jump on that experience, at least in our friend and family group, because it seems
Mhm.
like the rest of them are all now just kind of starting to get into
Right.
a lot of that. So whether it's, taking care of aging parents is the thing that kind of triggers it for people, or
Yeah.
kids, both kids or all kids are out of the house, so they become empty nesters might be the trigger. Maybe getting passed up for a career opportunity because
Mhm.
they went with somebody younger could have been, could be a trigger. For those people that are having a hard time, what what do you suggest? Like, what do you suggest them to do, or look at, or yeah.
Get curious. Why do you feel like you're having a hard time? What's the hardest part about it? Was it the rejection from the career? Was it the job you actually wanted, or it was just somebody saying no to you? And here's the thing: did they tell you no because they're choosing to have somebody with some, potential longevity, which does make sense. I mean, it you can't get mad at somebody who wants someone around for 25, 30 years, and I don't want to work until I'm in my 90s.
Mhm.
So I'm not going to behoove somebody or get mad about somebody going with somebody younger. What can I do? And so a lot of times, what I'll take my clients through is an inventory of what is it that you enjoy doing throughout your life? What are the things that you enjoy doing the most? And let's create something that is going to fit who you are now, because you're not who you used to be. And so wanting to keep up that lifestyle, or that those hours that you had to put in the stress level, who wants to do that anymore? I know I don't.
I don't even, and I'm in my late 20s.
It's just, but it's how you want to live your life. And so there's nothing wrong with you making that decision now. It took me years to figure out that having that kind of stress actually aged me faster.
Yeah.
I can say that I look younger now than I did probably 7 years ago when I worked in corporate.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to lie. I get my gray covered up. I don't want to go gray completely yet. Maybe I'll do that really cool rogue thing, from X-Men. I don't know. Maybe one day I'll get there. But
Love
for
the
but for now, I go and I have my hair done, and I enjoy that. That's something that I will do. Um, but as far as covering up, no, I'm 56. Go, yeah, bite me if you don't like it. I don't care.
What do you mean cover up?
I'm just saying, like, I don't care. Like, I don't care who knows. Like, I'm 56. Bring it on. What do you want? What do you want to talk about? And the other thing, when you were talking about resistance, look at the people that uh, have outlived other people, right? And a little not comparisonitis, but let's look at this. So you got Stevie Nicks, who we saw last year, who is still on stage, twirling around, singing. She rocked it.
Yeah.
Was she more careful? Did she place her feet in a much more precise way? Yes.
Was she still doing what she loved?
Yes.
Could that be part of it?
I don't know. You think? And then you have what's his name? The oh gosh, the older guy. He was in Pirates of the Caribbean. Johnny Depp's dad. And we all make a joke because we're like, how is he even still alive? He's in the rock band.
His name. He
I
plays
can't.
his dad in the movie. He's not his real dad.
Yeah,
And I
he's not his real dad. He really could be though.
can look it up really quickly.
Uh, Richard? No, it's not Richard. Anyway, my point is that he has done whatever the heck he's wanted to his entire life. What?
Heath
Keith
Richards.
Keith Richards. The man, he's aged. He has aged, but he's still walking around and doing what he wants to do. And then, unfortunately, we have some of those that have taken really good care of themselves, allegedly, because we don't know. We don't live with them, like the Richard Simmons of the world, who talk about, doing aerobics to the 50s, jazzercise.
Touch on that again because you're not going to tell me that guy was peak physical fitness, but whatever.
Well, anyway, my point is you have people that do take care of themselves, and yet they do pass earlier than some of the other people that live longer.
Yeah.
And here's what I have to say about that. Is it really age then that determines when we're going to come and go?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it something bigger than us?
Yeah. I mean, look at, there's people that say, one study shows that if you do this, you live 10 times longer. But then another study shows that with this group of people, you live only twice as long. And then a third study shows that if you do the same thing, you actually lose years on your life. And so I think, it goes with diets too. Some people do really well on a omnivore diet. Some people do really well on a vegan diet. Some people do really well on vegetarian or the carnivore diet, but it's not a fit for everybody. And so that should be the clue that not everything is going to work for everybody. And it is so incredibly important to listen to what you personally need, not
Exactly.
what works for everybody else.
Mm-hmm. And that is the truth of the matter. Are there things that you may have to adjust as your physical body ages that you might have to maybe not do anymore or not do as much anymore? Yeah, maybe. But then embrace it and find something that you love now.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, you're not the same person.
Yeah.
Don't keep going back to your high school reel when you were playing football and going, let's check tape. I was the best quarterback. Are you a good person now? Are you, you know, doing things that you still love? That's great that you want to go back to those memories, but let's create some memories now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the biggest thing is just live every day. And I know it sounds cliche, and we know that sometimes I talk in bumper sticker, but yes, live every day like it's your last. Because if you do that, you're going you're going to embrace life for what it is.
Yeah.
And every moment is an experience.
Yeah. So let me ask you, for people who are struggling with this, what can you help them with, and how can you help them?
The struggle. The struggle is real, and what we would work on is how to let go and how to move through the emotional aspect of it, and the resistance,
Mm-hmm.
so that you can let go and flow with life instead of resist life.
Yeah.
And then it's going to make everything easier.
Mm-hmm.
We can't stop the aging process, but we can embrace it
Mm-hmm.
and have fun with it.
Yeah.
And so that's what we would work on, and work on making plans. Life isn't over either. You still got time. You can still do a whole bunch of things, and screw the bucket list. Let's do a F it list. I'll try to be somewhat
Well, and you
PG.
probably also there's probably a lot of emotional and mental stuff that people need to be working through.
Absolutely, because you're going to be carrying grief of the things that you didn't do and
Yeah.
that you may not get a chance to do again. And so, oh gee, I should have done this, or maybe I should have done that. You're going to should all over yourself, as a coach that we know likes to say. And all of that is going to drain you, and
Mm-hmm.
it's going to weigh on you.
Yeah.
Excuse me, as my throat chakra speaks up. So, the emotional aspect of it, and I have this amazing metaphysical book, and when you have an ailment, we look it up together and we go through what emotions or what things we need to take a look at and dive into from a coaching perspective, so that you're not doing it alone, so
Yeah.
that we can clear it out. And when we clear it out, that's when you feel more free. And when you feel more free, you feel younger, and you can do the things and be the person that you want to be at this point of your life.
Yeah. So, how do people get started doing that with you?
Uh, the first thing is just book a call. You can go to mokshagrace.com / coaching and book a call, and we will have a conversation, make sure it's a right fit. The other option is you can come to mokshagrace.com / community, and you can sign up for Odinata. Odinata community is a place where it's group coaching. So you show up on Thursday nights and we talk about what topic is on our minds that night. And I coach, the different people that are showing up for the night. And it's a great way to get the coaching that you want without a long commitment. You may think you only need a month, and that's fine. Maybe that's all you do need. Maybe you need something longer, and then we talk about my 3 month. And that's where we go really deep into the
Well, that's if
emotional
you
liberation.
I would even argue it's not so much about length as it is depth. So the Odonata community is weekly coaching, and
Right.
which is incredibly useful and beneficial. But so that's what the mokshagrace.com / community. But to sign up for the compatibility call, that's going to be where you talk about your more in-depth, long-term coaching, where it's one-on-one and really diving a lot deeper.
Hmm.
You might be able to get with group coaching. Not to say that group coaching you're not going to get deeper and get through things. It's just this different type of coaching.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing: if we're on the call on the compatibility call, and I feel like, you know what, for right now, let's start with Odinata and do the group coaching, and then we're going to start there.
Yeah,
I want each client to be comfortable, but I customize everything that we do for that specific person on what they need. So if
right.
they're ready for a 3 month commitment, then yeah, we would dive in. But if I feel like monthly for right now until you can get to a place where you're ready,
Yeah,
maybe there's a lot going on. Let's clear up a few things first before we jump in. Then we're going to do that. And
right.
maybe Odinata is just the fun community that you participate in, and you do the weekly coaching, and we have a lot of fun, and you meet other people, like-minded people, and we move forward together. So those are the ways to find me. Definitely showing up to a moment of presence, listening in to the conversations weekly, and also our shockingly delightful that we do on Wednesdays at 12 as well.
Right.
How about you, Krista? Where do people find you?
People can find me at wickedwisdomconsulting.com. I'm also on LinkedIn, Facebook. But yeah, if anyone needs help with running their business, they need some ops help, I am your gal. Give me a call. Well, book a call, and we'll chat. And even if I'm not a right fit to help you, I will point you in the direction. I will actually connect you directly with somebody who can.
Yeah, absolutely. And just remember, we're all in this together. It's a really, really, really big canoe, and we're all in this together. And we can decide to row together, or and go downstream, or we can try to fight it. And there's really no sense in that. It's just a big old waste of time when you could be doing some really fun things that you enjoy, that light you up.
Yeah.
So I'll leave it at that. Every day can be the best
Wait,
day.
wait. We didn't do 3 breaths.
Oh, yes, you are right. And I'm sure we could all use that today.
Yes.
So, all right, sit up straight. And we're going to take a big deep breath in. Not yawn. Deep
Sorry,
breath
that
in.
oxygen just got me yawning. Okay, let me try again.
Hold it for 3, 2, 1, and exhale slowly. Bring up all the things that you're thinking about that are for the future that you don't need to be thinking about right now. Breathe it in. Hold it. Let them churn around. Blow it out like you're blowing out a birthday candle. Get rid of that energy. And big deep breath in again. And then just exhale slowly. So every day can be a good day or a bad day. You actually get to make that decision. Just because you had a bad moment does not mean that your whole entire day is going to be bad. I had a little mini mentee bee at 7:30 this morning and I am in a much better place now. Doesn't have to be your whole entire day. It's
Amen.
how you turn it around. So you get to make those decisions, you get to make those choices. It is all up to you, my friends. And if you want to learn how to do it, book a call or join me on Odinata, and I will see you there. And I will see you. Well, I'll see you later, but we'll see everybody next week.
Bye.
Bye.